Now today I'm going to show you how to write the perfect discussion essay. And we're going to do everything together, from drafting some ideas to planning our essay to actually writing the essay. So this is the prompt of our essay, and our teacher hasn't given us very much. We only have some people claim that a vegetarian diet is healthier, while others claim that a non-vegetarian diet is healthier. Discuss in 500 words. So we don't have a lot of room, we only have 500 words, and we don't really have much information, only these 2 points of views. But I do want to add an extra point of view on a neutral stance, but we'll look at that later on in this video. Now the first thing you want to do is capture some ideas about the thing that you're going to write. Now here's a very important disclaimer about everything that I'm going to write. This is not scientifically proven. I haven't done any real research and I haven't looked at research articles about vegetarian diets. These are just ideas I came up with some students in a class. So don't take everything I say now as real science. So here's the start of our mind map, and we're going to cover 3 paragraphs because, as you remember from my how to write a discussion essay, we can have 3 or 2 separate paragraphs that each cover each point of view. Now I've chosen to cover 3 points of views regarding vegetarian diets: a positive one, a negative one, and one that's somewhat in the middle. So we'll start with the positive point of view about vegetarian diets. And we're going to start by saying that vegetarian diets are healthier. We have 3 reasons why vegetarian diets are healthier. We're first going to say that vegetarian diets are healthier because meat has a detrimental effect on people's health. And then we're going to think of some examples of this. So I might say something about poor skin as a negative effect eating meat can have on people's health. Another reason why meat might be bad for you is that meat contains LDL cholesterol and lots of fat. So I might add that as one of those detrimental effects that meat can have on our health. Next, we could say that a vegetarian diet is healthier because plants are generally better for you. And that's basically because plants are high in fiber. Finally, I might also add that people have been eating plants for like forever and even before we started eating meat. So that could be an indication that it's healthier for you. So now I have several good reasons why a vegetarian diet might be healthier than a non-vegetarian diet. We now need to find some reasons why a non-vegetarian diet is healthier than a vegetarian diet. I'm going to add this to this side of our mind map. One of the first things we could write down about non-vegetarian diets is that meat contains protein, and too little protein might have a negative effect on growth. Another very important reason why a non-vegetarian diet might be healthier than a vegetarian diet is the fact that meat contains vitamin B12, which is something our body cannot make itself. We could also say that vegetarians maybe don't have enough energy. And finally, we might add that meat contains certain amino acids that we can't find in plants. So we've now discussed 2 out of 3 points of view that I want to discuss in my essay. And I'm going to add a 3rd point of view that kind of discusses the best of both worlds, the best of a vegetarian diet and the best of a non-vegetarian diet. And this is going to be our Mediterranean diet. Now, it's important that because I talk about the Mediterranean diet, I need to add something that kind of defines what a Mediterranean diet is. Now, I'm going to go with a definition that states that it's a diet high in olive oil, high in vegetables, but moderate in animal protein. Now, I also want to add a reason why this Mediterranean diet might be the best solution. And the reason I'm going to give is that people who follow this Mediterranean diet tend to live the longest. Now, before we can actually write our essay, I think it's useful to define what we mean by a vegetarian diet. And this is something we could state in the introduction of our essay. And I'm going to say that a vegetarian diet is a diet that omits meat and fish. So now we also have our definition of a vegetarian diet. And the next thing we could do is start organizing our essay and basically creating an outline. Now, before we actually start writing, we want to create an outline of our essay. And we know that our essay has an introduction, we have 3 body paragraphs, and we end with a conclusion. Now, very important in our outline is that we already plan our paragraphs, and we need to have a certain structure in our paragraphs. We want to have a topic sentence, a level 2 sentence, maybe a level 3 sentence, and then we round everything together with a level 4 sentence. In our introduction, we want to include a thesis statement that indicates what the aim is of our essay. So what we're going to do first is we're first going to create this thesis statement, and then we're going to organize our paragraphs. Now, a thesis statement is the aim of the essay, or basically the thing that you want to do. And we're going to go with a very simple thesis statement. We're going to say that the aim of this essay is to discuss whether a vegetarian diet is healthier than a non-vegetarian diet. So now that I have my thesis statement in place, I can move on to my first paragraph. Remember, we're not writing anything yet, we're only creating an outline. But the better our outline is, the easier it becomes to write our entire essay. So the first thing we do when we create our paragraphs is that we start by creating our topic sentence. Now each of these elements is going to be our topic sentence. So our first paragraph is going to be that it was healthier, and that's going to be our topic sentence. The second paragraph is going to be that it's not healthier, and that's going to be our topic sentence. And our final paragraph is going to cover the Mediterranean diet, and that's going to be our topic sentence there. My first topic sentence is going to be that a vegetarian diet is healthier because plants are considered to be healthier than meat. And the next thing I want to add now is our level 2 sentence. Now, if you think of the paragraph structure, we have a level 1, which is our topic sentence, our level 2, which is our explanation, and then we have our examples or evidence as level 3, and maybe we add a level 4 sentence to round everything together. Our level 2 sentence is going to explain what I mean by this, and I have 2 reasons why I think that a vegetarian diet is healthier. And my first reason is going to be that meat can have a detrimental effect on people's health. Now I want to give some examples or some sort of evidence why I think this is the case. And remember, we wrote down 2 different things. We started by saying that meats contain lots of fat and cholesterol, and we also said that eating meat can have a negative effect on people's skin. Now those 2 things are going to be our evidence or our examples as to why we think that meat can have a detrimental effect on people's health. After we've added those, we also want to talk about the fact that plants are healthier. Now I gave 2 reasons why plants are healthier, and I'm going to add those as my level 3 sentence. My level 2 sentence is going to be that plants are healthier. And my level 3 sentences are going to be the reasons why I think plants are healthier. So my 2 level 3 sentences are that plants are healthier because they contain natural fibers and because plants are naturally low in trans fats and saturated fat. So this is the outline of our first paragraph. We can now move on to the outline of our second paragraph. And our second paragraph is going to cover why a non-vegetarian diet is healthier than a vegetarian diet. Now I can only cover one thing in this paragraph because I only talked about certain nutrients that plants don't have. Now this means that our topic sentence can only be something like this. A non-vegetarian diet is healthier because... Now I'm going to say that plants don't have all the nutrients that meat has, and that's going to be our level 2 sentence. That's how I explain that a non-vegetarian diet is healthier. As our level 3 sentence, I gave some examples of things that plants don't have and that meats do have. So I said that meat contains vitamin B12, I said that meat contains more protein, and I also said that meat contains certain amino acids which are not found in plants. Now we can now move on to our third paragraph. Now for the people who are doing IELTS, this is where you want to stop. Because for IELTS you don't have to write a third paragraph. 2 points of views are enough. But for a general discussion essay, you might want to add a third paragraph with something like a neutral point of view, or maybe a completely different point of view than the other 2 you've discussed. So in this third paragraph, we're going to discuss the Mediterranean diet. And remember that I said that a Mediterranean diet is the combination of both worlds, or it's the best of both worlds. We get lots of vegetables, lots of olive oil, and some protein. Now I'm going to add a quite simple point of view here, and I'm going to say that there is a neutral point of view in this debate. My topic sentence is going to be that there's also a neutral stance in this debate that gets the best of both worlds, because I like that phrase, best of both worlds, and I definitely want to add it in our essay. Now, I need to explain what I mean by this. What's this neutral stance and what is the best of both worlds? And that's what I'm going to do in my level 2 sentence. So I explained what a Mediterranean diet is, and I explained that it's a high number of plant-based foods and a moderate amount of meat. Now, I can add a bit more about this and I can explain that what this actually is. So I'm going to add that it's something that's high in olive oil, something that's high in vegetables, and that it's moderate in animal protein. Now finally, I want to add a level 4 sentence, something that I haven't done before in the other paragraphs, but I'm going to say here that a Mediterranean diet, or people who follow the Mediterranean diet, live the longest. And now we also have our third paragraph, which is a very nice neutral paragraph that covers the best of both worlds. So after we've done that and we've created our outline, we can finally move on to the writing stage. And this is the point where we actually only have to put things together to write our full essay. So let's see what we can do to create this, our outline, into an entire essay. And it's not that difficult as you think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy everything from this page onto a new page and add information or add language to make it a nicely flowing essay. Now let's start with our first paragraph, because as you can see, this is not a very good essay. Now what I want to do is I want to add linking words, because linking words make an essay flow easily and it makes it easier for the reader to understand your strain of thought. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add first to this part. And then we get first, meat can have a detrimental effect or can have detrimental effects on people's health. And then we get our level 3 sentences, which are our examples. Now, if we do it like this, it is rather choppy, and we don't really like that. We want to make it a nicely flowing story. So I need to add a bit more. So I'm going to say that meat can have detrimental effects on people's health, especially when eaten in large amounts. And then we have this meats are high in fat and cholesterol thing, and that eating meat can have a negative effect on people's skin. I want to say a bit more about this. Why is this a problem? And I want to add that this is something that can lead to heart disease. So I'm going to add the sentence, which can both be dangerous and could lead to heart disease. And then we move on to our second evidence or second level 3 part, which is that eating meat can have a negative effect on people's skin. I'm going to add a linking word. I'm going to say next. And I'm going to add that it could lead to severe cases of acne. Now we can move on to our second part of this paragraph. And remember, I started with first, and that means that I need to have a second here as well. So I'm going to add second. Plants are healthier because they contain natural fibers. And I'm going to add that we can't find these fibers in meats. Then we get our thing about fibers that are good for a healthy gut. And then we get our part about plants being naturally low in trans fats and saturated fats. And I think we can add that these are the root causes of high blood pressure and high cholesterol. The only thing we need to do is add a header to this paragraph, and I'm going to call it a vegetarian diet. Now we move on to our next paragraph, and the first thing I can change is our header. I'm going to change it into a non-vegetarian diet. Now, we can do the same thing when we're creating this paragraph as we've done with our first paragraph, and we can basically put everything together. I'm going to say that a non-vegetarian diet is healthier, and then I'm going to start with our level 2 sentence. I'm not going to use the because here. So we get that plants don't have all the necessary nutrients that meat can provide. And I want to make it formal, so I'm going to change don't into do not. Then we get the vitamin B12 part. And I can take out the plants don't because I think that makes sense based on our level 2 sentence. And I want to say a bit more about vitamin B12 because we need to get to the right number of words. And I'm going to say that vitamin B12 is vital for the production of red blood cells. I'm also going to add that vegetarians always need to take vitamin B12 supplements, or that they need to add those supplements to their diets. Then we get our protein part. And I want to combine these two sentences together because now I have two simple sentences and I want to create one long compound sentence. So I have meat contains more protein and, which we need to add a comma, and a lack of protein might negatively affect growth, which I think makes sense. And then we have our final point, which I can add with a finally. Meat contains certain amino acids not found in plants. And again, we have a very nice, well-flowing paragraph. And then we can move on to our third paragraph, which is our neutral point of view. And I'm going to say that I'm going to call this one a Mediterranean diet. Now we can start our paragraph with our topic sentence, but I think it's nice to add something I call a linking phrase, where we link this paragraph to the previous two paragraphs. And we can do this very easily. We can use a linking word and add besides. So I'm going to say, besides the two opposing sides to this discussion, there is also a neutral stance in this debate that gets the best of both worlds. Now I can add the Mediterranean diet as a concept in this sentence as well. And I'm going to say that there is a neutral stance in this debate that includes the Mediterranean diet, which combines the best of both worlds. And now we have a topic sentence that has a bit more body, if you like, and it flows a bit better as well. So I think we have a good topic sentence here. And now we want to combine the rest of this paragraph. So we can simply remove this and put these things together. A Mediterranean diet includes a high number of plant-based foods and a moderate amount of meat. We want to say the thing about olive oil. So we could say that Mediterranean diets are usually high in olive oil, comma, high in vegetables, and still contain sufficient protein from meats. And then we can remove this. And then we can add that people who follow the Mediterranean diet, and I think we can add which people actually follow the Mediterranean diet, which we can add here. So I'm going to add these hyphens and say usually countries in the Middle East and Southern Europe live the longest. Excellent. I think we have a very nice third paragraph that discusses the neutral point of view. And now we can add our conclusion. And we still haven't done our introduction yet. Now, what we want to do in our conclusion is summarize the main points of our essay. And I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to end broadly. So look what I'm going to do. So I've added the conclusion to this essay, and I have stated the most important points. There are several points of view regarding a vegetarian diet, which is our prompt, which is what we had to do. I said that a vegetarian diet could be considered healthfuller, which is a real word, due to the large number of plants consumed. A non-vegetarian diet could be considered better because of the nutrients consumed when eating meat. And some of these nutrients are not found in a plant-based diet. A neutral diet could be the Mediterranean diet, which is high in plant-based foods, but also contains some protein from meat. Now those are the main points we discussed in our essay, which makes sense. And what we want to do now is we want to end our discussion essay broadly. You always want to end your conclusion broadly. And this means that you want to link it to the greater world or the greater good or whatever reason you're writing for. And that's what we need to do in this conclusion. So what did I do? Well, I basically said that it's up to the individual to decide which diet fits best. Experimenting with different types of diets and combining recipes from all sides of the discussion could lead to the best results. However, a healthy lifestyle does not only take food into consideration, it also needs to include sufficient exercise. So I ended this thing very broadly. I talked about our own essay and our own points, I summarized them, and then I ended it broadly by saying that you also need to think about exercise, and only diet is not enough to maintain a healthy lifestyle. And now, the final thing we need to do is create our introduction. Now, I always say that you write your introduction at the end, because then you know what you're writing towards. And we can do that. We've written our essay, we have our main paragraphs, we have our conclusions, so now we can create our introduction. We're going to end our introduction with our thesis statement, and I need to add something to make it broad. So what I could do is I could talk about vegetarianism, I could talk about diet and health and exercise and eating meat, that it has become something rather frowned upon by some people. And that makes it a broad opening of my introduction. So I've done this. So what I've done is I've started very broadly by saying that health and diet have become a controversial topic, and then I say something why this is the case, and that is because the number of people getting older and colder is increasing. I've made a link with health by saying that healthy aging has become part of government regulations, and then I say that some claim that a vegetarian diet could be a solution to maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Then we need to add this definition of a vegetarian diet, and I say that a vegetarian diet, sometimes confused with a vegan diet, is a diet that excludes animal meat and fish, and is considered healthier because of this omission. Then I get my thesis statement. The aim of this essay is to discuss whether a vegetarian diet is healthier than a non-vegetarian diet. Now, if you have some words left, you could explain how you're going to do this. That's something that we see in research articles a lot, where after the thesis statement, they give either the research questions or they explain very briefly how they're going to achieve the thing that they set out in their thesis statement. We're going to do the same, and I'm going to add this to do this. So I've added that this will be done by discussing that a vegetarian diet is healthier, by discussing that a non-vegetarian diet is healthier, and by discussing a flexitarian diet, which is the Mediterranean diet. And now we have a very nice funnel-shaped introduction. So we could say that this is our introduction. And the only thing I need to do now is add the introduction header to this paragraph. And you might want to think of an interesting title as well, but that's not, of course, in the scope of this tutorial. Now, one thing I didn't do in my conclusion is state my own opinion. And I haven't done this because we already have 3 paragraphs, but if I wanted, I could have added my own opinion to this conclusion. Now again, for those doing IELTS, you definitely want to include your opinion there if they state so in the prompt. So make sure that you fully understand the assignment and the prompt before you start writing, because if you need to include your own opinion, you might want to give your own opinion when you're sketching your ideas in your mind map. And there you have it. That's how you write a discussion essay. We started from scratch with nothing, only our prompt, we got some ideas, we created our outline, and we finally written our essay. If you found this video useful, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments, what do you need to write your discussion essay on? And is there a particular type of essay that you want me to write for you? For now, thank you for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to see you in one of my next videos.